I take pleasure in introducing Mr. Mahesh Sharma. Mahesh is basically a mechanical engineer and with an MBA. He has a very rich and versatile experience of managing large businesses over the last 35 years. He started his career as a management trainee in Forbes and Forbes Campbell of Tata Group company, and then later moved to technical sector in Gujarat itself. Finally moved to Indore to manage operations of Flexituff International Limited as a CEO. Flexituff International Limited is an Indian multinational company which has got a turnover of more than $200 million, and has more than 7,000 employees in its works. They have got their operations in more than 55 countries, spanning across 5 continents. As a key student of management, he is deeply involved in many management associations, trade bodies, and he is actively involved in that. He held many honorable positions in such institutions, and currently is on board of directors of Indore Management Association and is a national governing council member of technical, textile as well as packaging institutes. He is also a visiting faculty to many institutes, management institutes in India. He is he has got a passion for traveling, and his job is also like that. And he is a very avid reader, and he enjoys live music also. So I welcome Mr. Mahesh to come and listen.
I'm very happy to be part of this shared learning, and would like to thank Ira and Gilani ji for creating this opportunity for all of us. Friends, I would like to begin with some disclosures. Disclosure number 1. There are 2 occasions in any and every person's life when he feels very lonely. 1, just before dying. 2, just before addressing an audience who you know is far more intelligent and smarter than you. So, no prizes for guessing. I do have butterflies in this story. Okay. Second disclosure. Yesterday when I was gathering my thoughts for this interaction, I spoke to Mr. Gilani as to how long do you want me to talk. He explained the format of the session and said about 20 minutes. Now, there is an issue here. I'm a married man, much married man friendly, a veteran at being husband. And like all husbands at home, I don't get to speak 20 minutes in one whole week. So, if I run short or if I exceed, blame it to my marital condition. Of course, there are husbands who can speak for the whole day, but then we are not talking here about consultants, are we? That brings me to another familiar territory. I'm sure all of us are familiar with that. No, this has no relationship to my marriage, by the way. But I'm sure all of us have seen these advertisements. By the way, is there anybody who has not seen this kind of advertisements? I knew I had a company here. Nobody. Fantastic. So every one of us have seen these advertisements. We just can't escape it. If you are traveling by train, you will see these advertisements. And okay, let me be candid. you see the advertisement of booked row on the wall parallel running to the railway track. If you go by road and have a stopover at dhaba, you'll see the pamphlets pasted onto the washroom wall. And even if you travel by air, you'll find Dr. Prakash Kothari or Mahendra Vats with their weekly columns in Times of India giving you all kind of expert advices. So, what brings this booked row right now here? Okay. Certainly not my marriage, and hopefully certainly not your marriage, but there is a reason for all of you to be here, and let's see, I see an uncanny resemblance to some of the symptoms here in our corporate life. Saha bhi na jaye aur kaha bhi na jaye. Okay. We all have in our corporate lives to deal with banks, deal with financial institutions, deal with stakeholders, shareholders, and several government and tax authorities. There are reasons, and nobody is escaped. There are times when we have to put the things under the carpet. There are times when we do window dressing. We खुद के गाल पे तमाचा मार के गाल लाल रखते हैं ताकि everybody thinks we are happy. Okay, this is something which is predominantly common in most corporate world that we know. We have pains, but we have no way, we don't want to tell it to anybody else. Sounds familiar, I'm sure. Performance issues. Most of us live quarter to quarter life. The results make us happy, and the results make us unhappy. We are responsible to so many authorities, to our creditors, to our employee, to our suppliers. We are pressurized from all the corners all the time. So corporate does face, almost all corporates and US corporate leaders have this performance anxiety or performance issues. This is another common factor that I see in corporate life. We take expansion, run out of cash, make promises to bank, give projections for next 5 years, get equity into the system, still run out of the cash. Use money from the working capital, put it to expansion, and as a result, try and make both the current unit as also the expanded unit running into a troubled water. So that leads to lack of corporate vitality, as I would say. And when all this happens, corporates, as we know, do end up losing this team. Our employees are demoralized. Team is not clear as to whether they are coming in or going out, but nobody to talk to. We have to maintain certain posture, and we all do that. Let's be honest here, we are within the family, within the four wall of this. We know that all corporates at some other point of time, to a lesser degree or higher, go through these pain points. And so that brings to my third disclosure, that we had all these problems in my company and some more. So that brings me to explain as to what kind of company I am in. Flexituff, as James have explained and introduced, is a multi-product, multinational company. It has 8,000 plus employees. James, since we last met, 7,000 has become 8,000. We export to more than 60 countries now. We are assessed, but predominantly we are in technical textile and bulk and retail packaging. This is how my product looked like, what we call as jumbo bag, 1 ton or 2 ton polypropylene bag which gets exported to 60 countries. The operation is more like a technical, more like a stitching unit. You have the polymer which gets processed into a fabric, which you cut it and stitch it like your shirt or trousers. Okay. So the stitchers are very important to us, and we have 8,000 of the total employees, predominantly of them being stitchers. So that's the business I will be using as a reference in taking TOC experiences forward. Okay, so like Mr. Swarup was explaining, we also had, I don't know if we had all of these, but we had most of these problems in 2013 before we adopted TOC. I had huge inventory pile-up. Being in export, I would always have some or other export buyer visiting us. I have to take them out, take them in on the shop floor, and he'll be surprised seeing the kind of inventory that we have. In our business, you have to have the fabric roll. So no matter where you go, you'll find those fabric rolls, huge inventory pile. We used to export in 2013 about 170 containers, 40 feet per month, and almost 100 of them, or maybe more of them, would get dispatched in last 10 days. What we know as month-end syndrome, which would mean what? That A, we will not get the container in time, the transportation vehicle would not be available, we'll miss the LC, we'll miss the shipment cycle at Bombay, all those chaos was there. We will try and take the billing in forward mode, but no matter what you do, we were not able to come out of this monthly syndrome. As a result, the deliveries were getting late, customers were unhappy, and within the organization, everybody was blaming each other. It could not obviously be them, but it had to be somebody else. So one department would blame to another, second department would blame to third, and so forth. And none of us, frankly speaking, we were all activity-centric company. None of us really had clue, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, but the organization as a whole had no clue whether we were coming in or going out. Where we were standing, believe me, and we were one of the major exporter of the country, the highest exporter, topmost exporter for last 10-15 years, even at that point of time in our category. But all of these that I've said was the fact. Cash crunch was there, profits were going down, and the morale was, of course, very, very low. 2007, we had the first private equity into the company. 2011, we took company to public and got it listed at 150 rupees premium. 2013, world's largest private equity company fancies us and puts in more money into our company. Very happy. We're totally on the growth trajectory, expanding the capacities here, putting up the new plants there, and in the process of apparently, we lost sight of operational measures. We had all of these problems, and that's where we were advised by our private equity partner as to why not look for an external help. Obviously, they had their own reasons because 5 years hence from that point when they exit, whatever gain that comes from external help, they'll have 10 times of multiple of that EBITDA which gets additionally built in because of the external help. So we looked at various organizations, PricewaterhouseCoopers, some American companies, and eventually were happy to zero it down to Goldrat India. Mr. Gulani and his team, after having done the district study, holds the first meeting on 15th or 16th of June in 2013. There are 30 of us, me, a professional CEO like you, and Mr. Saurabh Kalani, the promoter director, Atul, who is the unit head and vice president, And like him, top management team, 30 of them were sitting. And of course, Gilani ji explained the concept of theory of constraints, so and so and so forth, and said कि विलन तो कोई होता ही नहीं है, सारे लोग अच्छे ही होते हैं, जानबूझ करके तो कोई गलती करता नहीं है, but assumptions लोगों के गलत हो सकते हैं. So in that process, within 10 minutes, he explained to all the 30 people sitting in the room as to who were the culprits. In 10 minutes, he said कि आप लोगों की कोई गलती नहीं है. So this is what he had to say, and while saying this, he looked at me and my colleague Mr. Saurabh Kalani that if there is any problem in an organization, do not look at bottom, look at top. Saying that the bottleneck is always at the top of the bottle, which means that whatever problems which were there in the company emanated from the policies that were decided by the top management. And he couldn't have been more right. In last 3-4 years, that's one major learning, that it's the policies that we frame based on our historical experiences that become the major impediment to our real growth or unlocking the potential of growth. So he was very clear, and we also took it with a pinch of salt, of course. We thought that we had done a great job in having Mr. Gilani as the chosen partner to guide us, and in 10 minutes he tells that these are the two gentlemen you can blame for all your ills. You guys are, of course, God's gift to mankind, but these two gentlemen will decide. So, after a study and various discussions, next 2 slides I'll explain, and I'll not take much time. I'll explain as to what was the scenario before TOC and after TOC, and what were the policies responsible for that and how it was changed. Okay. So you need not read all this stuff. What it was that, in our case, the measurement was in tons. We produced 50,000 metric tons last year. We produced 4,000 metric tons January. We produced 3,500 metric tons or 4,500 metric tons. So entire industry, all our units, all the departments, they were being measured on the output of tons. Then we were also, of course, measuring the output of every department. How much was the loom production? You would know it, sir. How much would be, your organization had gone through a similar packaging exercise. So how much extrusion per month, tons per month, how much fabric, how much finished goods, etc., everything into tons. The other measurement that we had was the P&L, which was getting ready. We tried making it by 10th of every month, but it would take 10 more days, and eventually it would be ready by 20th of every month, and it was still incorrect. Because several provisions were made, bills were not there in time. All those things that can happen, I'm sure it will sound familiar to most of us here, did happen with us. By the time you read the P&L, you have lost the ability to correct your whatever sins that you had the previous month. So it was more of a post-mortem analysis and had no corrective ability. But that is what was the scene. When before TFC, the second part which is interesting is, as he was saying, sales. In sales, across our industry and light industry, we were also pricing our product on per ton conversion cost basis. So there was no difference in 2 different orders. There was no difference in 2 different clients, and we had no clue if one was better or another was bad. Okay. So that's what was going on there, and since the philosophy was to measure on ton, we were preferring the businesses which were heavier bags, or as he rightly said, in his thought process that time, a longer run businesses. So that's what exactly was happening even at our end, and entire sales team believed that there is nobody who will pay us more than industry average. Everybody thought that if X is getting $1,500, since I am smarter, I might get $1,550, but I can't imagine it to be $2,000 a ton. No. Production planning used to be done once in a month. 70% dispatches were late. And like the book in goal, we also made sure that no machine should remain idle. Every machine, every loom, every extrusion plant should produce the output. And we were very reluctant in taking small quantity orders, because then you have to run the looms for that small batch order, and which means a lot of changing times and a lot of wastages, etc., etc. So we would never do that. But most importantly, our belief that we have 6,000, 8,000 people. Of course, there are some good people, there are some people who are not so good, but most people were indifferent. Most people were self-centered. They were not really performing to their best, is what we thought about most of them. We always believe that we are the God's gift to mankind. The problems, if any, are outside of our operations. We would end up rewarding individual performance. The marketing manager who brought maximum business. The loom department in charge who produced highest number of tons of fabric in that particular month. Or the finishing manager who converted fabric into highest number of bags. So we were having these silos of decisions, local optima that you would call, that we will reward one day marketing manager, the next month loom manager, the next month extrusion manager. So that is what exactly was the story at our end before TOC. Now, I'll not go very theoretical. Post TOC, what happened? There are a couple of things happened. I'll take 2 examples. And this is where I would like to spend a minute or two. There was only one measurement we were told that we need to measure. Forget loom production, forget tonnage of extrusion, forget the number of bags being made, and that one measurement has to be throughput per week. We started having weekly meetings, very religiously, where everyone had to come, multi-departmental meeting, but only one meeting a week. But every week, and no monthly planning. So we had one measurement. The total focus was on getting maximum out of the constrained throughput. In our case, the throughput was identified to be the stitchers. We have, let's say, about 3,000 stitchers, and we were paying them 500 rupees per day. And we would not be willing to pay them 550 rupees, thinking that if I pay them that much, others would also increase, so why do I pay them any higher? So that was what was our thinking at that point of time, which got changed because once we learned that constraint was a stitcher, we have to treat him as, borrowing Gilani's word, Dula Raja. Every other thing has to be sort of subordinated to managing that constraint. I'll take this only to as the guiding principle amongst many others. And I'll give you 2 examples as to how did we use this managing constraint totally, which changed our organizations 180 degrees. And remember, as I said to you, stitchers were the constraint end. I would not get the stitchers in the desired numbers. When they come, they'll not be engaged for entire 8 or 10 hours. So what did we do? We absolutely, as Mr. Gilani taught us, squeezed the lemon. Okay. Which essentially meant that we did a profiling study as to what age group do not come, the married people remain more absent, or is it particular caste community which remain absent, or if they are taking loan from company, is there a better engagement and better retention of those employees? So we did all of that, and then came up with 4 different measures to make sure that we have enhanced presence and engagement of the teachers. One was like Ola and Uber. We came up with a mobile applications registering all the teachers of that particular area, and taking it to statewide, and then taking it beyond. So whenever we have, so there is an ability to communicate 2-way, that we need you, and they can also come back and say that yes, we are available. So that ensured that additional gap of 20% of teachers which we used to have a problem with. Then, of course, we set up a 24-hour medical facility at our end. What we learned was that these teachers will not come to office because the hospitals would open at 10 o'clock. They have to go and show to doctors. So for that half an hour visit to doctors, they would not come to the office whole day. So we employed qualified doctors 24/7 at all our plants with subsidized general medicines, and that turned out to be a great help to us. Most important initiative that came through our interactions with Mr. Gilanchi and Mr. Gilani, we started our own stitching colleges, taking up raw people, training them, putting them on job training, and eventually employing them. So all these 4 measures were done because we realized that if one stitcher does not come, we lose a throughput of 6,000 rupees every day. So if I get one more stitcher, I'll get 6,000 rupees to my throughput. But if I miss him, then but if I have him additional, my cost probably will be 600 rupees. I started paying them better. Another experience that we did, which was costly but proved to be very, very helpful, in one of such brainstorming discussions, we said let's have a shopping mall experience for our stitchers, workers. So we had 200 metric tons of air conditioning installed in our plant. It was an air-cooled plant before. The idea was that the stitchers who would not come to the plant because of in summer season, let's create an environment which is better than the living conditions that they are part of. So that also pulled in all this constant unit to our plant. So this was an example. Earlier thought was that the stitchers are costly, I must not increase their cost, I must not offer them more money. But with this, that we have to manage the constraint, they got better buses, they got better facilities, better dresses, everything. So we increased our presence as also supply, as also their engagement. So this was one example that I thought I'll take. Second is, again we changed our bottom line tremendously. As I said, we were earlier pricing our product on per ton basis. Now we started quoting our product, our bags, on the extent of labor involved in each production. Which means that if there are 2 bags of 2 kgs each, both can give me different throughput because I make 10 in one day and another bag I make 5 only in one day. So our entire process changed onto labor content involved into a finishing operation rather than per ton basis. Then we realized that no 2 orders are same, no 2 clients are same, Europe is not as good as America, within America all the clients are not same, within that client all the orders are not same. So we could develop this ability to look at various businesses because of our having throughput per constraint unit as a pricing record. But did we have challenges doing this? Tremendously. And that's where I say the TOC intervention became most helpful to us. So these are the examples as to how we moved throughput per kg or per stitcher hours, and how we moved small T by SH to a larger throughput per stitching hour. But this is some of the parameters I could say were the gains of TOC. OTIF percentage on time delivery in full was less than 40% in the previous scenario. Now it has crossed 94%. Weekly throughput, which was 5 crore for our plants, has come to 9.25 crores. Throughput per stitcher hour earlier was around 410. On an average, it stands of whole order basket is 660. Inventory, which were of 40 days plus, has now come down to less than 10 days. So these, and there are several, of course, operational parameters which have changed, but doing this was not easy. We had our own set of problems. As you can see, we always had territorial mindset. This is my client, marketing versus production, accounts versus purchase. They all had issues with each other department. Production guy would produce what is convenient to him and not what is required by the marketing guy. Marketing guy would bring orders which were not in tandem and aligned to what was capability of the production shop floor, but they would bring those orders. Accounts would stop the payment of supplies on very silly matters, and purchase people would buy in bulk because they think that it will be cheaper for them to buy. So we had all these problems because everybody took decisions independently and into silos. Post TOC, Mr. Gilani taught us that there is no villain and we all are into it together, and there is only one measurement, that is throughput, weekly throughput measurement. As a result, we had joint ownership and the I and me got replaced with we and our. So this was a major gain for our group thanks to the teachings of TOC. We also had similar issues of different departmental goals. They were always misaligned, one will produce more, the other would not want them. So the focus was on local optima. How do I improve my performance in my department, independent of a view of the company as a whole, which in fact I did not know before. But after TOC, we had a common throughput language and we started talking company as a whole and not basically this department or that department. This was probably a decision, this was probably a gain which had huge impact on our working. Atul and Atul would bear me out. We had several capex plans lined out. That let's put in 10 crore here, 5 crore here, let's get this machinery from China and set this project up. Mr. Gilani and his team would come in, explain us that no, please do not get into this. It's not macho to be into 60 countries. It's nothing mainly about setting up new businesses. Make sure that you are focused on what you need to do. So he brought that focus into our decision making. Several projects did not see the light of the day because of that particular thought process that we were taught, and we learned that we need to improve only at constraint unit, and that's probably my last learning. And this is a vote of thanks from Flexituff International for Mr. Gilani sir. Our team has done it to this caricature for you. That. Mr. Gilani is no longer called Gilani, he is known as Dr. Saab at our end in any case. Okay. And this is the fact for last, our engagement has been 5 years old now, and we continue to seek him out. He was there to help us with cash velocity situation in recent past. So TOC for us has been a major game changer. We all can discuss for long, but time is an issue, and of course marriage conditioning is an issue. So thank you very much, friends, for listening out. Thank you.
You said that you took care of Dule Raja stitches, right?
True.
And done a lot of things. Now what happened to other employees?
Okay. Number one, we could create work-related, work-centric differentiation. Okay. We couldn't have had other employees totally left out into the process, but we could always create a skill matrix and find ways and means to reward the stitchers who were our constraint little better than what we were doing before. The challenge basically was not from our other workers or other employees in other departments. The challenge was we had similar 6 companies in that area where we are in Pithampur. So the stitchers were the king. If you tell them, why did you not come for last 5 days? He will say, here is my resignation, because he'll get a job outside very same evening. Okay. So that was the situation, that the competition was not from other employees in, let's say, loom department or extrusion department, but from other processors. So we had to make their working, their engagement at our end so lucrative and so interesting that they'll choose to remain with us rather than choose to go to others.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much, friends. It was wonderful being with you.
Thank you very much.